All right, welcome back to WMMA Now with your host Chuck Stevenson, coming at you today with a special fight announcement out of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. So the UFC has announced a fight between Holly, the preacher's daughter Holm, and Norma, the Immortal Dumont, and surprisingly, it's going to be in the featherweight division. This fight is currently scheduled to take place at a UFC fight night that's going to go down on October 16th. That also features a flyweight bout between Marina Moroz and Luana Carolina, and a strawweight bout between Ariane Canalosi and Estela Nunes. Let's go ahead and look at the stats for Holm versus Dumont here. Holm coming in at 14-5, Dumont coming in at 6-1. Both fighters are riding two win runs, preceded by a loss. Holm last defeated Irene Aldana via decision 9.5 months ago. Dumont last defeated Felicia Spencer via split decision a little over 2 months ago. Holm is the elder fighter by 8 years, 39 to Dumont's 31. Holm will have 1 inch of reach on Dumont, 5'8", 173 centimeters to Dumont's 5'7", 169 centimeters. And that reach extends by 1 inch, that advantage extends by 1 inch into the reach. 69 inches, 175 centimeters for Holm to 67 inches, 170 centimeters for Dumont. So this fight, this announcement, it definitely took me by surprise. Was not expecting these two to be facing off, certainly. And wasn't expecting Holm to, head back into flyweight probably ever. I mean, she hasn't fought at flyweight since, since 2018 when she defeated Megan Anderson. After that, she dropped down and took the loss to Amanda Nunes at bantamweight. I mean, Holm has a total of 3 fights at featherweight in an entire career of, of bantamweight fights. So for her to move up to featherweight all of a sudden just seems out of the ordinary. Maybe it was the only fight that's been offered to her. Not sure. I mean, for Dumont, this is a very big step up, and I'd say it's a nice reward almost in a way for having defeated Spencer. If I remember correctly, she was the underdog going into that bout, and she came out ahead. So this is a step up and like an award almost, but this is very risky for Norma Dumont. Dumont striking, she's a Sanda fighter, and it's basically like a Chinese kickboxing. It's Chinese wushu turned into like an effective, combat sport. Whereas Holm has that more traditional boxing, American kickboxing style. And whereas Dumont's, Sanda, it's often very unpredictable. Fighters depend a lot on the side kick and everything. Holm does that in a way that's more effective than what you see out of a lot of Sanda fighters. Holm, we all know what Holm is going to do. She's going to come out here and she's going to ish her way. She's going to throw a lot of jabs. She's going to throw a lot of kicks to keep Dumont at her range, and she's going to have the height and reach advantage here. Holm is going to look to make this a distance point fight. Whereas Dumont needs to use that Sanda and be a little unpredictable and not fall into patterns and try to drag Holm down into her fight and make this, I hate to use this word because the connotations it means, but she needs to make this like a dirty fight. I mean, she needs to make this like a street fight, like a brawl almost, is what Dumont is going to need to do. As I said, surprised by this, but it's kind of a pleasant surprise because keeping Holm away from bantamweight at least until this fight goes down in October, so it'll keep Holm away from the bantamweight ranks at least until sometime into probably the end of the first quarter of next year, is a good thing because it allows the bantamweight rankings to develop without her being that bottleneck there at the top along with Jermaine Durandamy. So if this keeps Holm away from other bantamweights and allows another number one contender to develop while she's moving back up to featherweight for a little bit, good. Whether this means that featherweight is still here to stay, I don't know. I mean, if Dumont beats Holm, she probably does get an instant title shot at featherweight against Amanda Nunes. But right now, we have no idea when Amanda Nunes is going to return to featherweight. She was scheduled to face Juliana Pena, and the news just dropped today that that fight is off due to COVID concerns for Amanda Nunes. Hopefully she recovers, but who knows when Amanda will be returning to featherweight. But in another way, this is a chance for Holm to get another shot at Nunes at featherweight as well. So either fighter here coming off a win, getting a win here, I should say, should have a chance to get a title shot at Nunes at featherweight. So definitely makes for an interesting fight in that sense. So those are my thoughts on this fight announcement. Holly Holm versus Norma Dumont. Like I said, it goes down at a UFC Fight Night on October 16th. So if you're in the U.S., should be on ESPN Plus or ESPN. International, definitely check your local listings. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on the fight in the comments down below. Now, if you like the video, please give it a like and go ahead and subscribe to WMMA Scene Now, the most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.